Hi, I'm Richard Burns, and thanks for coming to In the Flow, the channel for spiritual beings about spiritual beings. All of our episodes are embedded with transformational energy. Thus, as you watch, you can receive healing energy.
My name is Brandon Wainwright. I am the father of one daughter, a husband, and a dad of two beautiful dogs and a chinchilla. So in April of 2018, my dog passed away from a brain tumor. And this dog was very special to me. I wrote about him in my book, Tyson's Gift. This was actually the first dog that I had ever had that I had until the time that he passed away. I didn't realize that I was going to be struggling with his very existence, and I realized that within a couple of days of when he passed away. The loss obviously hurt, and I expected that. I figured it was going to take time to get over, but I began to realize that what I was really struggling with was, where was he? Did he still exist? And I couldn't accept the idea that he no longer existed, because he was such a rich soul and he had such a huge impact on my life. And so I started reading books that I started looking for books that would give me just some comfort. I wasn't necessarily expecting to get any answers. I just wanted to comfort myself and believe that, or at least fantasize about the idea that he lived on, to give myself comfort. And what I found was a book called Animals and the Afterlife. It's a book by Kim Sheridan, who's a naturopathic doctor. She had had many experiences with animals where they either reincarnated or she was able to communicate with them after death. And it was so fascinating to me, so compelling, that I was, in my mind, it was like, either she's lying, she's crazy, or this is real. I wanted to believe, one, that I could still communicate with Tyson, and two, that maybe he might be able to come back to me. So this started me on a whole journey of trying to dig into my own spiritual abilities, my own abilities to be in connection with Source, with oneness, with God, if you will. And that got me into Reiki, which is spiritually guided life force energy, and it's a form of energy healing. And I just keep getting a little bit deeper. But one thing I found is that everyone, me, you, everyone on this planet has the ability to connect with Source. Source is exactly what it sounds like. It's the source of all life. God is right in front of you. It's right with you at all times. And that is Source. God is Source. So, most people believe that, well, religious folks believe that the way to connect with Source is through a pastor or a priest, or you have to have some kind of way to connect, because you're not worthy, you're separate. And the reality is that you're not separate. We're all connected to Source at all times. Where is my path going next? That's a really good question, because I'm kind of at the infancy of a whole new stage of my life. I just a few months ago, I retired from law enforcement, and I'm trying to find my way in a more metaphysical career, I guess you could say. Right now, I just recently started an energy healing practice, Tyson's Gift Healing Arts, and I offer Reiki, distance Reiki, in-person Reiki, and also color and sound healing. And I intend to offer more modalities as I go. But it's not just a matter of an energy practice. It's my desire is to help people as much as I can, to spread this paradigm of looking at life, of, again, that we are all eternal beings having an earthly existence. My goal is to normalize this way of thinking, and because the level of peace that it brings you when you realize that there is more, that we're all connected we're all part of oneness. Our lives do have meaning. It's not just a matter of you're here until you die and then you go to dirt and take a dirt nap and that's the end of it. That's not how it works. And there's a lot of peace that comes not just with knowing that you live on and that you will be connected to your loved ones, but also that there is meaning to everything that we do. How was my being a cop connected to what I'm doing now? Well, first off, in terms of the most obvious way is that my role as a police officer, I think it gives certain credibility to the things that I'm sharing, because I'm not some weirdo that's making stuff up or trying to live in some fantasy land. I'm quite the opposite. I am a natural skeptic, as are most police officers. Just want the facts, ma'am, type of thing. And I think people understand that someone that has that type of mind isn't going to just willy-nilly start talking about this stuff and like it's real unless it's real. The ultimate goal for me was to help people and to serve my community and the world as a whole. So in that sense, it's exactly parallel. It's just in a different context. When you're spiritually conscious, of the concept that we're all one, that we all come from source, that we all come from the same place. We're all going to the same place, regardless of where you started off in this world. You were born in rough circumstances. Were you born, and with a silver spoon in your mouth, piece of cake? We all come and go to and from the same place, right? And I think not just intellectually understanding that concept, but feeling it, being in the flow, if you will, it makes you more conscious, and your actions are guided with that in mind, and it has an impact on the way you perceive other people and situations. So, for example, as a police officer, you're right, I did deal with a lot of addiction, people that were homeless and drug addicts and things like that. But I didn't see them as lesser. I didn't see them as bad. Of course, there's evil in this world, but I saw them as my equal, and somebody that is just lost their way. They're on a path that's causing them to struggle and suffer. But that doesn't mean that they're lesser, and it not only does that impact the way me or anybody else in that situation approaches a person like that, because that energy that you're putting out, that energy of compassion and understanding, empathy, has an impact on how they perceive you and how they receive you. And not for a police officer, obviously that's very important, but for anybody on this earth, that's important. And so I think the more spiritually aware you are, the more, and not just doing this because you're supposed to, because the Bible tells you to, but because you feel it, because you're in line with that way of thinking, with that frequency of spirituality. I guess that's what the flow is.